lunch?
Apparently Subway is what I heard.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Will that get me tomorrow?
Whether the plebs on the commentary team get it, I'm not sure.
I'm sure you will. I'll just sit here and be that poor old prick who gets it.
But I mean, I'd be nice to eat in front of you.
Would you? Thanks, mate. I'll enjoy watching you.
It's what I do.
I'll enjoy watching you. It's all good. Scott Becker. Damien Lyons. And Nathan Durant. Yeah. Durant. D-U-R-A-N-T. That's so you can yell it by name. We think it was the Apple logo, but also you can see it's like smudge. When I close the door, the smudge seems to go away. So it's outside light coming into the room. Cool. I've got a format in the right. Which one? It says it's 32 gigs big, but only has a gig worth of free space, and it's empty. You're going to go at 4. Okay, quick. I'm going to go to the toilet quickly where you do that. Once it's on, I'm good. Yeah.
Welcome back to the NBL Blitz. This is the second game of day 2 of the marathon session here as Kendrick Perry throws down an enormous dunk in front of us. This game will be between the Melbourne United and the Sydney Kings, the Kings' first game of the Blitz. And joining me once again in coverage is Brad Rosen. And Brad, the Kings coming off an excellent win, their first ever over the Wildcats since returning to the league in 2010, back on Thursday night in Ipswich. And unfortunately coming into this game severely undermanned. No Josh Childress, Angus Brandt and Josh Dunker. Their two bigs won't play.
Yeah, it's a shame to have those three players out, two starters and another guy who has been starting, and all having, you know, very good impacts over the last few days, last few games. But look, just speaking to Damien Cotter before, he's played heaps of games. He's more than happy with the amount of games that this team has played. Probably would prefer to have played against a little bit better opposition. I think it's fair to say, with some travelling teams that have come out here, they're not NBL standard, but Thursday night the game was. But look, all in all, he'll be happy, but gives guys an opportunity to play. You know, Ben Madgen, you know, Garlip and Ellis and Kadee and, you know, Kevin White, all these guys get to play, and I'm looking forward to it.
Flip side, from Melbourne's perspective, David Barlow not going to take his place tonight. He has a battle today.
Yeah, I just spoke to him. His back's tightened up. It's something that, I mean, I coached Dave for 3 years actually, and it's something that's always been part of him. He is sort of quite tight in that back, and you know, for him that's not uncommon. You know, it's probably just slept wrong and, you know, travelled wrong, but he'll be fine. You know, he'll just loosen up on that. So it's more precautionary. And even speaking to Damien Cotter, I think if this was, you know, a major game, I think everyone would be playing, but with the amount of games they've played. So it'll be interesting to see what Melbourne. They had an outstanding first half on the back of McRae last night. And then they were terrible in the second half, is fair to say, and Townsville just tore them apart in every aspect. So I think you would probably see Kickett will be a lot more active tonight. He's been really good for them in the pre-season, and he really didn't see much, I thought, last night. And a lot of that had to do with McRae having 23 at half-time. So I see them being a lot more inside orientated tonight.
Particularly with the size advantage they're going to have, that Mark Worthington, ex-King, and Daniel Kickett at 6'11", and Kickett.
Well, yeah, you'll probably have Garlip having a Mark Kickett, and you know, Tommy's having an outstanding year so far. I know it's early, but he has been tremendous. But you know, Kickett's another level in dimension down low for that. So that's going to be a tough ask for Tommy, but that's what he can do, and he's been playing very well.
Once again, fans, if you want to get involved in the coverage, go to the NBL Twitter account. The hashtag is NBL Blitz. Let us know how you're feeling about the coverage, if you're enjoying it or not. And we're pleased to be able to bring it to you from Auchenflower. King's just being introduced here. Kings are going to start with Madgen, Garlip, Perry, and Ellis, Cody Ellis, who was terrific against the Wildcats.
Yeah, with Kevin White rounding out that, so that'll be all players playing very good at the moment. And yeah, Cody's been great this year as well. He's been real. I must say this year. I know we say this year, but he's, you know, we've seen a lot of games now. We've called all the Kings games, and he's been very good.
And Bruce, you know, you've talked about this. Cody Ellis, strictly a pick and pop player last season, but this season looking to take it to the basket a lot more.
Well, I think that also started from him having that stint last season on his belt, and having given him a good chance to see what the league is like, see where he can get his offensive arsenal going. And he also had an off season where he was playing in the Perth State League, and I think having a good season there, carrying over into the NBL season, has definitely benefited from him. And you know, he don't want to be known to be a shooter owner. He's only he needs to be able to have something else to his game, and he's done that by attacking the basket.
Tip controlled by the Kings, and Mark Worthington is on the bench, so Owen Odygy and Lucas Walker earn the start ahead of Worthington and the injured Barlow. They're looking for Perry up, clock top. Madgen just misses him with an alley-oop. That would have been a spectacular way to start.
Yeah, kind of hard to do that against Lucas Walker, though.
Tomlinson to the very impressive McRae, going baseline, kicks it to Tomlinson. They give him the three, launches it, back iron, no good, rebound Garlip. Now, I think it's one part of his game, Nate, that teams will give him that outside shot. Ellis, matched up with Kickett. Looking for Perry. 10 on the shot clock. Here's Madgen, left-hand dribble, and he's fouled by McRae. And it's a carryover, guys, from last night. McRae got really frustrated in that second half and earned some really cheap fouls.
I was just thinking, sorry, but I was just thinking the same thing, because previously where he played, they probably allow that to happen. He's going to have to realize here that's just not going to, he's not going to be able to get away with it.
Well, yeah, what we're getting here is Nate Tomlinson's being spoken to already, because he even just said something to the referee, and we noticed this last night. Nate was very vocal to the referees, and quite honest, he just needs to shut up and play. You know, that's as simple as it is, and the whole team was doing this last night.
Perry looking for someone, finally finds Ellis, I'm sorry. Now Perry, 10 on the shot clock. looking for Madgen. Instead finds Ellis. Ellis, nice pass inside to Garlop. Finds White. White has a look at 3. That's short off the iron. Rebound McRae. Minute gone. No score. Second game of today's session here from Auchenflower, the NAB Stadium. Odygy, McRae, guarded by Madgen. McRae just so smooth, just flies to the basket, misses the tip end, but he's fouled, and that's going to be a matchup. If they're going to have Madgen defend him, you know, Madge not really known for his defense, and
well, the first thing he has to stop is the penetration. McRae was dynamite last night, and most of it was off transition and penetration. So if anything with Madge, he's just probably going to have to give up that jump shot, because that's the least of the poison, basically, that he needs to go with.
Misses the free throw. Jordan McRae out of the University of Tennessee. Second free throw good. McRae opens the scoring with a free throw, 1-0 to Melbourne United. Here's Ellis in the low block. Ellis just turns and fires and hits! Cody Ellis just right in Daniel Kickett's face. First goal. And Kickett lays Kendrick Perry out with a massive pick, and Perry's slow to get up, and he's... Ooh, that hurt. Meantime, they tried to throw it up to McRae for his stuff. McRae now has a wide open corner 3, breakdown by the Kings. Oh, now Perry and Garlop fumble it away. Bit of a messy
Kendrick's
possession
not happy
defensively.
because he didn't hear, and I didn't get to see it well enough if he was getting called out, but he did not even see that and ran straight into Kickett. And he's a big boy, Kickett.
Kings in that zone, as you probably would expect, as undermanned as they are. Here's McRae. Tomlinson, back to McRae. McRae launches it. It's good! Jordan McRae splashes a 3, and it's 4-2.
Well, we don't want him to get going like he did yesterday.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
Thank God I'm not a coach, because here am I saying, take the penetration off, he just hit a 3.
Now the United show zone, but Perry turns it over. He was looking for Garlop and turned it over. Poor pass. Here's Tomlinson. Launches it from 3. That's no good. And Odygy saves it to McRae, and they'll reset. 11 on the shot clock. Jordan McRae crosses over, gets a pick. McRae pulls up, banks it in. Jordan McRae, just like he did last night, is off to a flyer. He's got all 6 of Melbourne's points. They lead 6-2. Here's Ellis attacking the hoop. Layup is good on the foul, and that's what you spoke about Bruce Bolden in the pre-game.
Well, you know, he's recognizing that guys are giving him that, coming up on him so he don't get that shot off. And to his credit, and you know the other thing I was thinking about, he looked like he's in a lot more better shape. You know, last year he had some time off, you know, being in the States before he arrived, and he wasn't quite in shape, so he might have been
like his chicken, eh?
in his step. And
He hadn't played in 6 months since he had finished his NCAA career.
But I do like that he's taking Kickett off the dribble. Because Kickett can't guard him on that, because he's too quick for that. So he's using the other end to his advantage.
3-point play from Ellis, 6-5. Here's Kickett now. Size advantage on Garlop, and there's a foul. What have we got here? It looks like Madgen has been called for a foul, holding on Jordan McRae. Madgen acknowledges the foul, and that's going to be a matchup. It'll be interesting to see if the Kings stay with that, or they put White, who's more of a stopper, on McRae. Now they're going to a zone. Odygy, Tomlinson nearly fumbles it, gets it back, kicks it out, kick it. Tomlinson, Madgen's giving him the shot. He launches it, it's in the air, and he misses. Kick it, tries to save it, and does, to McRae. He's in the post, kick it. They don't look at him, and they'll reset. 9 on the shot clock. Odygy, right-hand dribble. Again, attacks Madgen. Hard to the rack, misses short. Big rebound, Ellis. Here come the Kings. Kendrick Perry's flying up the court. Kevin White to Madgen. Madgen, dribble drive. Madgen's fouled and scores it.
Good finish.
So, really good take by Madgen. Hard to the rack. And another opportunity for a 3-point
We'll break
play.
it down, and Perry pushed the ball up and got it. Good rebound first off by Ellis. Perry got the ball, whipped it straight into Kevin White. He didn't even look at the rim, which is not a negative at all, because he knew Madge was open and kicked it straight back to him, and Madge took it off the dribble in a beautiful move. Great defense into offense all round.
captain of the Sydney Kings, and misses the free throw. Rebound Walker. Kings up 7-6. Early stages of the opening period. Here's Walker, and he travelled. Yeah.
Good closeout by Ellis too, because he could have easily run straight at him a lot harder, and because he closed out short, it was a good option.
Oh, now White quickly in transition, but United are back. Perry to Ellis to Madgen. Ellis looking to establish positioning. Gets McMillan into the game now for Kickett, who's got 2 fouls. Ellis spin move. Ellis reverse layup, no good. Just missed off the iron. United are running. Here's Tomlinson kicks it to McRae. McRae goes into the rack. Layup is good. Jordan McRae,
and he wanted
all 8 points, and probably should have been a foul. Here's Perry the other way. Perry, spectacular! Wow. That's what Kendrick Perry can do.
Yes, and
what a play!
That is his most comfortable spot, being out there in the transition.
And that's off a score.
Yeah.
So wow, that was quick.
He has jets. Here's Owen Otagy exploring. Now pulls it out. 7 on the shot clock. Jordan McRae. We know how dangerous this young man is. Crosses over. Goes between his legs. Now goes into the paint. Foul, and no basket, but
all good except for the reach. Good defense, closed out short. He up faked a few times and he stayed down, but just the reach.
Once he found himself isolated against Ellis, so smart, and what a talent this young man is. Jordan McRae. He's got all 8 of United's points and make it 9. He wasn't happy about it, but it tumbled in. Second free throw coming up. And Kickett's second foul really helps out the Kings, as McRae is 2 of 2. He's got all 10 points. 10-9 to United. Worthington now into the game. Here's Perry. Worthington jumps out, finds Madgen. Garlop with a nice move. Madgen up fakes. Madgen fires from the elbow. Oh, net for Ben Madgen. 11-10 to the Kings. Good patience that time.
Great patience, good offense.
Here's McRae. Looks at a 3, turns it down, and they're going to run a play. Kings lead by 1, 11-10. McRae getting a pick. Finds Corletto into the game now. Tomlinson. McMillan just launches an air ball. Terrible shot, but at the shot clock buzzer. Here's Kendrick Perry. Perry, and then there's a foul, and I think the referee bailed him out, because I think looked like McRae picked that, Bruce, and right in front of us.
Very, very unlucky. And I think sometimes there is that time where the referees do have to kind of think about if they're bailing the offensive player out.
It's that 50-50 call,
yes,
isn't it, Bruce?
Totally
and that's the only thing.
Yeah.
So slightly unlucky McRae. Now he's chasing Madgen. Madgen just jacks it from 18, and it's long. Rebound Tomlinson. They're running. Here come Melbourne. Tomlinson turns on the Jets himself. Layup is good. So he changed into an extra gear and just blew by it. Layup is good. United reclaim the lead. 12-11 to Melbourne. 4:25 left in the opening period. Madgen. Garlop. United playing man at the moment. Plays it off to Perry. Worthington jumps out, so he finds Garlop. Mismatch. Garlop fades away. Baseline, and he makes it.
Beautiful offense.
Tommy Garlop has been doing that all pre-season.
Well, he recognized something and called out the offense, and then finished it off with
the good thing with the handoff is he made sure they switched, so that he ended with Tomlinson on him.
Yeah.
Tomlinson, back eye, no good, and the Kings are going to give him that outside look. 13-12. Perry pulls up from 3. That's no good. So 2 quick shot on the offense there. McRae rebounds to Worthington. Worthington attacks the rim. Is short. Rebound, McMillan, and scores off the window. What a play, Oren McMillan. And that's what he's there for, Bruce.
He's handy around the basket.
Yeah.
You get him in there for 2 to 4 minutes. He's going to be productive within that time.
He's very good, and he always has been. Just that 3 in the corner is not his game.
Yeah.
United back in front, 14-13. Garlop lays it off to Perry. Perry, back to Garlop. Nice pass. Garlop, good move. Oh, it's fouled. Oh, yeah, I was going to say Corletto had no chance that time, and Gallup almost had a crazy reverse layup.
Well, this is where we speak about, and Tommy has just gone to another level. And I mean, he had a great year last year, and we've spoken about that a number of times. And Tommy's just so patient now. And you look at that play is the perfect example.
Yep.
He made sure he set a screen. He wanted to get the switch. They didn't go, so he left early and then posted up well, and then he ended up with Corletto on him.
His reading of the game has gone up another level as well.
Very educated basketballer.
Guys, the Kings have been, I think, underrated a lot, and I think two of the big reasons why is that they're not taking into account the improvement of Tom Gallup and Cody Ellis. That's a huge key for this team this year, I believe.
Well, I think what you also see with Tommy and Cody, they're not flashy players. They quietly get it done.
You need them, my boy. You need them.
Gallup missed them both, unfortunately, for the Kings. It's 14-13. 3:05 left. Melbourne up by 1. McMillan lays it off to very athletic Walker. And he's rejected by Gallup. Oh, that was a play from Tommy Gallup. He's going to come out of the game to be replaced by the young Sudanese-Australian development player, Madol Chol.
I think he's angry with himself for not catching it. He blocked it. He was angry. Oh, you got to love him.
Walker, almost stolen by Perry, but here's Worthington. Quickly to McMillan. Tomlinson face guarded by Ellis, launches a three, and that's short. Rebound to Chol, and here come the Kings down 1. 2:44 left in the first period. Perry crosses over, he's got the isolation. Chol gives it up to Magin. Magin going right, up fakes Magin. Nice interior pass to Chol. Reverse layup is good of the foul. Madol Chol inside for 2. Great pass by Magin. Again, Bruce, and he did this last against Perth. A good seal inside.
Well, I give him credit from the way he played against Perth. In particular, he had some crucial defensive stops when Matt Knight was trying to get the ball down on the block, and that played a key role in them winning down the stretch. Him coming in, and that's just flowed on from that Thursday night. Now, the free throw shot.
That's another story.
We'll have a discussion with him about that afterwards.
Kings up by 1, 15-14.
They've gone back to a zone as well.
Here's Walker, and Walker just ungainly, and looked like Daniel Joyce fouled him, and he did, but
not sure where Lucas was going that with.
Yeah, that's the only problem I had with that. I know there was contact, but to me it looked like Walker, it was all made by him.
Walker's going to have to take a seat. He's clutching.
Yeah, he got hit in the shin.
He got hit in the shin. He's not going to sit down. He's just rubbing the leg.
Probably just that initial contact.
Yeah. Worthington up fakes. Goes into the paint. Dumps it off nicely to McMillan. And McMillan's got 4 points. And as you said, Bruce, very handy around the basket. Now here's Magin on the break. Magin goes hard to the rack. Off the window and good. Ben Magin, as he was against the Wildcats on Thursday night, in absolute attack mode, and it's 17-16.
But that's terrible defensive transition.
Yeah,
by
it was.
I was going to say the Tigers, sorry, the United.
Oh, how can you... Okay, that's
another conversation.
That's another conversation. Walker, great move, Lucas Walker. Scores up the window. And got to love Lucas's game. So strong and athletic, and he's developing some nice offense.
Well, he needs to. He's been in the league enough years now to be able to step his game up to that next level.
Ellis almost throws it away. 9 on the shot clock. Here's Perry. Perry isolated against Worthington. Perry stops, pops, and long. Rebound tracked down by Walker. United leading by 1, 18-17 with possession. 1:18 left. Tied first quarter. Here's McMillan, who's been solid. Corletto, standstill 3. That's long. Rebound to Ben Magin.
Good box out.
Magin. United in the zone. Perry to Chol. Chol. Dribble handoff to Magin. Magin with 7 on the shot clock to Ellis. Ellis launches a 3. No good. Offensive rebound, Chol, and he's fouled by Worthington. And once again,
love that energy and being in the right place.
Well, that also comes back from good offense. You know, I have no problem with that shot that Cody Ellis took.
Oh, he was over for about 2 days.
Absolutely. It went round. It wasn't first pass shot. It was good offense. And that just gives the young fella the chance to go down there and go, well, I know the shot's going up, and he gets the offensive rebound. It's a good job.
And I think the other thing he's doing, too, is catching the Tigers off guard because he's a new player, so they're not really focusing on him too much, and he's getting in the right spot, still not making that free throw shot.
All right, he's going to make this one to get at you, too. All right, you're both giving him too much, all right? commentator's
Usually-
curse right here.
No, I've got the commentators.
It's
Bruce
in.
knows full well. No.
You said commentator's curse, did you?
Yeah,
It's
my
the other,
bad.
with me. Bruce
bad.
knows full well. That's
Talking about
definitely
Brad.
me. Oh, you. And they throw it away. Here's White on the break, and Walker fouls him. A good foul by Lucas Walker. It's certainly not unsportsmanlike, but Kevin White will shoot 2.
Well, interesting 35 seconds here because this is worth a point for whoever wins the quarter.
Yeah.
So,
And Worthington just complaining about that call. A bit frustrated as well, though.
but this is the bit they did last night, and it affected them too much.
Yeah.
Get off it. Don't worry about the ref. Don't worry about the refs. Everyone's copying it. It's not just on them. Everyone's getting rough calls, or if you want to call it, or the games call it differently, however you want to say it. It doesn't help your game.
White 1 or 2 at the line. Score is tied at 18. Here's Worthington to Corletta to Tomlinson. 19 on the shot clock, 26 on the game clock. Corletto, Tomlinson, well beyond 3. Kickett's in the game now. Here's Walker. He launches a 3. That's a handball. That's a terrible shot. Here's Joyce now exploring in transition, but he'll pull
Good
it.
recognition.
And the Kings will set a play.
This is for the point. It's
Yep.
18 all.
Here's Madgen. Madgen pulls up. Big 3 in the air. It's no good. Rebound Worthington. 1 second left, and this score will be tied at the end of the first period.
I would have liked for Mass to take him to the basket because he had a 6
Too easy.
guard.
Too easy. That was just a little bit first option type thing.
Yeah.
At the end of the first period, both teams getting half a point for that. Score is tied at 18. And what were your thoughts, Brad, on that first period? Interesting first period. Kickett, of course, going out early with those 2 fouls. And the Kings, despite being very undermanned, hanging tough early.
Yeah, they did. Very undermanned, and they did really well. I think all in all, Damien can be very happy with the way his team's played. They've done exactly what he's asked. Tommy Garlett, again, outstanding. Ben Madgen had a good quarter going for Melbourne. Very similar to last night where it was the McRae show. He came out and just went bang, 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 and sort of it all revolved around him. Nate Tomlinson took a lot of shots in that quarter, which is very unlike him. And, he's 1 of 6 from the field, 0 of 4 from the 3-point line. So, but look, both teams 18 all are happy. I think, Chris Anstey would want to get back to what United want to play, and I think that's what he'll be doing. But interesting second quarter coming up.
Stats at the end of 1. The Kings shooting 50%, let's check that, 47% from the field, led by Ben Madgen, who has 6. Cody Ellis has 5. For United, they shoot just 35% from the field, 7 of 20, 1 of 9 from 3. Both teams combining for 1 of 14 from behind the arc in that first period. Just 3 or 4 from the free throw line. They're led by Jordan McRae, who had their first 10 points on 3 of 5 shooting. And Oren McMillan, who Bruce talked about, has 4 points. And rebound count favouring United 15-9. Assists 2 apiece. Both teams.
Well, I mean, the stats show there's nothing, and obviously White's 18 all, but some interesting coaching philosophies will be coming on now. What they want to do. The zone does seem to be affecting. I thought that zone was quite good for the Kings, and for the United. Well, the up and down flow really helps them, and that's what they want to do. Start create.
We're underway here in the second period from Auchenflower. Game 2 of Saturday's session. Kings are in a zone. Here's Walker. Looking for McRae on the curl, finds him. 13 on the shot clock. McRae looks at a 3. Now finds Worthington. Super pass from Worthington to kick it, and he scores. Good offense that time.
Yeah, good high-low action.
United leads by 2, 20-18. Here's Madgen, guarded by Walker. Madgen looking to explore, finds Kadee. Now back to Madgen. Madgen up fakes, now gets it to Ellis, but it's stolen by Worthington. Worthington picked it. Worthington goes hard to the rack, layup, no good, short up the iron. Kadee comes up with it. Now Ellis. Ellis left-hand dribble drive. Ellis attacks Kickett, but good defense. Daniel Kickett forced a tough shot. Here's McRae, and he throws it off Kevin White's foot out of bounds.
I thought on both ends they were 2 good no calls. Both contacts were being made directly from the offensive player, so I had absolutely no drama with that.
Yeah.
Tomlinson inbounds to McRae, back to Tomlinson. Here's Odyssey. McRae just has a wide open look at three, launches it, and it's short. Tap controlled by Garlop. And here's White. King's looking to run. White fakes it. Now gets it to Kadee, and it's been kicked by McRae.
The only issue that I have at the moment with the Kings zone is there's no ball pressure. I know he went underneath that screen and it was wide open three, but there's absolutely no ball pressure, and that's what
standing still, Bruce. Brad, rather. That was the first thing that came to mind in that possession.
Well, there was no need for him to go underneath that screen.
Here's Ellis, spin move. Nice. Ellis, reverse layup, spectacular move by Jordan McRae to talk him out of it. Here's McRae, and McRae almost loses it, gets it back. Nice pass to Walker, left-hand layup is good. What a play by McRae at both ends.
Yeah. You know, when he get that ball in his hand, something, you know, is positive is going to happen.
United go out to a 4-point lead, 22-18. Now Ellis tries again, attacks, kick it. High off the window is good. Cody Ellis hits it. Great shot. He's got 7, and the Kings are down by 2, 22-20. McRae to Tomlinson. Tomlinson, nice pass to kick it. Long, and he's fouled by Garlop, and Garlop can't believe it. Holding foul on Garlop.
Yeah, he just... Tough one, because I think as he was trying to get the rebound kick it, Tommy just walked under him to get the rebound himself, not knowing that Kickett was there.
Garlop's second personal foul, and have to watch that, Bruce, given how undermanned the Kings are in the big category.
Yeah, well, interesting thing is Kickett went out as well, which makes him just a little bit smaller.
Odyssey launches a corner three, that's good. Now, Aaron Odyssey, not necessarily known as a shooter, but knocks it down and gives United a 5-point lead.
Well, it's the ball pressure that we're talking about. He's just not happy with the ball pressure, and that's if you're going to leave someone that wide open, they're going to hit it.
Of course.
Here's Madgen getting a pick from Ellis. They double him, he throws it away. Throws it into the backcourt, and the Kings just losing their way in the last couple of minutes here, and Jordan McRae asking some really tough questions defensively. Kings call for time, and it's a good timeout from Damien Cotter. And one of the things, guys, we've consistently talked about throughout this pre-season is Sydney's ability to respond and adjust, and it'll be interesting to see what they come out with after this timeout from Damien Cotter.
Well, I think that particular pass right there, it just required just a little bit more composure. You know, he threw that pass off balance. The intention was right, but a little bit of composure, footwork properly, make that pass directly to him, and he might even have an open jump shot.
I think for the Kings, what's I've noticed the last 3, 4, 5 possessions down is everything's rushed.
Yeah.
Everything's trying to react rather than just let's take what the defense gives us.
Yeah.
It's let's push, and even a couple of Cody Ellis's pushes there where he's gone underneath.
Yeah.
He's all trying to make something happen that's not there.
Yeah.
Good timeout by Damien Cotter. He's actually taken out Kadee. He was not happy with that ball pressure, so he's now sitting, and Perry's coming back in.
Well, what's happening with that ball pressure, instead of that being ball pressure, he's a foot away from him, kind of concerned about the penetration with his hands down.
Yep, agreed. Because, the normal rotation would be Perry coming back in for Madgen, and then Perry and Kadee would be out there.
Yeah.
But actually, I'm just looking over to the bench now, and Damien's having a nice chat there with Jason Kadee. So you'll expect he'll be back on within a couple of minutes.
Yeah, that's right.
Ball back in play. Here's McRae. McRae stops, pops. Yes! Jordan McRae has 12, and it's 27-20. 7:22 left to half-time. Biggest lead of the ball game for either team. Garlop, Ellis, guarded by Worthington. Looking for Perry, finds him. Odyssey is there. Perry to White. White, right-hand dribble. White attacks the hoop and is fouled. Just check to see who that's on. Someone.
It's going to be on McRae for the reach from the side. But Kev White was a little bit out of sort of his dribble routine. But Wortho didn't need to go and attack that. As soon as he attacked it, then he could get the penetration.
That's right.
Here's Perry. Looking for Madgen. Madgen finds him. Goes to the foul line. Launches it. No good. The Kings struggling at the moment. Rebound Odyssey. Sprinting down the court. Goes into the paint. Odyssey. Great move.
Nice move.
From Owen Odyssey. What a play. 29-20. Damien Cotter screaming for timeout here. And now here's Garlop in the low block, guarded by Walker. That's a good matchup. Garlop, right-hand hook shot is short. The Kings really struggling at the moment. Here's Worthington to McRae. McRae flies to the hoop, looks for the dunk, and he's fouled. My goodness, that was a Statue of Liberty dunk that he just missed, but he took off outside the key.
He did,
and almost threw it down.
And he stretched that arm up to the ceilings and nearly got it chopped off by the fan.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes, replay, please.
He took off outside the key. We're just looking at the replay. Unfortunately, we can't show it to you, but oh my Lord, that would have been.
Let's just say he took off from where you set up to get a rebound and a free throw. It's good. It was a long way away.
It's good this game is on. It's good this game is on YouTube, and just for fans, you can watch all the replays if you can. If you've missed out, or obviously if you want to go back and see it again, if you've got friends that have missed out in the game, you can let them know. Have a look at the NBL YouTube page. All the Blitz games will be there. And for Sydney Kings fans, these games also are available via sydneykings.com and the Sydney Kings TV YouTube channel.
Well, we now talk about the first few 3 and a bit minutes, I should say, here. And it's an 11-2 run here from United, and that's the second time out, if I'm not mistaken, by Damien Cotter. So he's obviously very concerned with the situation that's going on, and so he should be, because they've got away from everything they did correct in the first quarter. And you guys have said it a number of times, you know, how they've responded. Well, here's a good test.
Well, the other problem that Kings are faced with is, you look at the lineup that's out there now. They are very small.
Very small. Madol Charles going to play probably the 5 alongside Ellis, Madgen, Perry, and Kevin White. Here's McRae. Almost brought the house down, literally, with that attempted dunk that he was fouled on. Misses the free throw.
Coach always used to say, just lay it up, it's all worth the same. Yeah. All right, so don't worry about the big dunk.
Yeah.
That's because I could never dunk.
1 or 2 of the line for Jordan McRae, and the United have a 10-point lead, 30-20, 6:30 left to half-time. Perry finds Ellis. Now Chol. Back to Perry. Perry looking to use his speed against Tomlinson. Fadeaway is short. Offensive rebound, Ellis, no good. Now the Kings missed about 6 of their last 7 shots. Good save from Madgen. Good defense. Gets his hand there. Here's Madgen. Foul by Odyssey, no call. Somehow gets it back and scores. Oh, Madgen staying with it.
That was the old, I've got to turn over. He's got another one there too, Perry.
Worthington and Tomlinson. It's a kick ball, but Perry's coming in for very physical attention tonight.
Yeah, he's not happy with his teammates here. He's just yelled at them. That's the second one he's copped, and no one told him about that one at all.
Yep.
But I got to admit, keep your head up, mate. I know it's harsh, but when you're up there, and I've done it many years, you just know that they're there.
Worthington, left-hand dribble, goes into the paint, draws the foul, and he'll go to the line for 2. Identifying the young man, Madol Chol, and attacking him.
Sorry, shouldn't laugh. Damien Cotter's right next to us, and he actually called a switch. And Madol, to his credit, actually went to switch. He's like, not now. We're waiting for that play.
You can just tell he's young.
Yeah. Hey, coach told me to do something. I'm doing it.
Yes.
Worthington at the line and misses the
first. It's a good foul. He missed it.
Yeah. But Wortho, being a veteran, took it straight at the rookie.
Yeah, didn't he? Put the body on him.
Second free throw good from Worthington, 31-22. Worthington, that's his first point of the game. 5:45 left to half-time. Ellis, Chol, they give it to him, the 3, turns it down now, Perry for 3, and it's an offensive foul. Moving screen on Cody Ellis, using his backside, according to the referee, to bump the United defender out of the way, and it's a turnover, and 2 points in the last few minutes from the Kings. Just having a tough time getting anything going offensively. Odyssey. The very impressive McRae. Yeah, they've switched Kevin White onto him. Kings go back into man. Here's Odyssey. Odyssey going baseline, left-hand dribble drive off the window. It's fouled by Ben Madgen. and will go to the line for 2.
Odaji is playing a much more composed game today, and he's having an impact.
Hit a 3 before, now earned himself a trip to the line. And
well, I mean, he's been around for a few seasons now, and he's shown enough where this is probably not something that you'd think United would be shocked about. You know, he's shown glimpses of this. I think for him now it's about containing it and being consistent.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
And here's the sub we spoke about. He wasn't going to keep Jason off. No. Nothing else worse when you get taken out. Coach tells you what's going wrong and then you don't go back in. It was a good sub here. Get him straight back in and now get back to what I've asked you to do.
11-point lead, 33-22. Here's Ellis. Kings stagnant offensively. Child goes into the paint. Now finds Perry. Perry athletically is fouled. And really thought he should have made that. I don't know why, because that was just high flyer as Kendrick Perry. 42-inch vertical leap, and he's long too, Bruce. Yeah. 6'6" wingspan.
Tell you what, Madal has had a couple of open looks. I think at one stage or another, he's going to have to just take that jump shot. You know, his man is
well, he can't. You guys give him too much stick from the free throw line. He doesn't want to do it.
Well, I got more faith in him at the moment from the jump shot than the free throw.
Perry makes the first. And misses the second. Rebound McMillan. 5 minutes left to half-time. Odaji kicks it to Corletto. Kings fall back into a zone. Here's Worthington. Cross-court pass to Odaji. Odaji, strong move into the paint. Worthington fires away. Bang! Right, Worthington hits a 3, and it's a 13-point lead, 36-23. Meanwhile, his Perry goes into the paint. Has it ripped out of his hands by McMillan, and there's a foul. Damien Cotter calling for another timeout.
Well, probably see, this is where the youth of Kendrick Perry comes in. You know, that move he made just there, he was trying to go attack the basket against 3 guys. And that's one way he's got to pull it out, then call the play.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. That's something if you take yesterday, and we've spoken about it, that's where Cedric Jackson was so good for New Zealand. And that's what's been great. So I'm sure Damien will talk to him over the week and show him that. But you couldn't be more truthful in that. Yeah. With a Josh Childress not around, that hurts too.
It's one of the reasons Damien Cotter went out and got, not just the fact that we were lucky to, the Kings were lucky to get a Josh Childress, but the fact that he's been around the block. And it was a real strategy by the Kings this season. Damien Cotter wanted an import that was straight out of college, but then he wanted someone who could act almost as a mentor, an older import who'd seen some time, whether it be in Europe, whether it be in the NBA. But was a real pro, and I mean that's exactly what Childress is. He's just a total professional. Yeah, he's been outstanding. But
so true.
There's no question. I mean, who wouldn't be missing a player of that caliber tonight? But
well, I'll tell you what. At the moment, the Kings better be careful here. This can be 20-25 at half
very
time.
Quickly. Yeah, Brad. It sort of smells like that, doesn't it?
It does. Yeah. There's nothing fluid and smooth what the Kings are running, and offensively wise, United are doing whatever they want.
Yeah. Well, the Kings has gone back to that zone, and it's just not putting enough pressure on Mel United.
Well, what's been interesting to me in the zone is they just don't seem to be understanding where the players are and putting that pressure on the ball, which surprises me a little bit. But it sort of seems like the ball, to me, can shift from one side of their court to the other very easily. Yeah. No ball pressure.
And that's always
United have outscored the Kings 18-3 in the last 4 and a bit minutes to take a 15-point lead. It's 38-23. Here's Perry, and he's fouled by McMillan. That's only United's 3rd team foul.
Good offense from the timeout. They were very effective with what they did. They ran one on ball, kicked it to the other, ran the other on ball and get the foul. And McMillan's that's his 3rd foul, so he'll go out and they'll bring Kickett back in.
Kickett with 2 fouls comes in to replace McMillan, who sits with 3, as Brad Rosen said. It'll be White to inbound the ball. Here's Garlop. Isolated against Kickett. Lays it off to Perry. Perry crosses over. Tomlinson sticks right with him. Kickett jumps out. Here's Perry. He's got an open lane. Goes into the paint. Offensive foul. So Kendrick Perry has Damien Cotter just shakes his head ruefully in front of us, is just forcing the action too much. And that looked like an offensive foul.
Well,
yeah, he pushed him off definitely.
The problem with that is 2 poor decisions in a row.
38-23, 4:06 left in the first half. Worthington to Corletto, and now Tomlinson.
See, the ball pressure's just not
there.
there.
I was thinking the same thing, Brett.
Here's Worthington, dumps it down low, but it's stolen, knocked away. Here's White on the break. Ahead to Perry, but they steal it. Poor pass. Now Chol steals it back. Perry in the paint and misses. Gets his own rebounds, and he's fouled.
No, they're calling that on Perry, actually.
No, they're calling a foul on Perry, yeah. He's going to go out. He's got 2 fouls. Madgen will replace him, and it's been a tough day at the office so far for Kendrick Perry.
It seems to me that it's just one of those games for Perry where he's trying to force it.
Too much. Yeah, you're right.
And we speak about it all the time. Don't force it. Just let it happen.
Well, it'd be interesting to know the mindset, because you know you've got 3 potential very big products of this team out. So is his mentality, I need to score, which is actually not necessary.
Yeah.
But that could be the mentality of what he's thinking.
Yeah.
Tomlinson misses the first. Second one coming up for Nate, and he makes it. 39-23. 19-3 run from the Melbourne United. Here's Madgen. Finds Garlop. Here's Kadee. Kadee launches a triple. Oh, that's no good. Rebound to Corletto, and here come United with Tomlinson. Dumps it down low to Worthington. Guarded by Garlop. Wortho up fakes. Wortho right-hand dribble. Layup is good. Over the outstretched hand of Chol. What a play. 41-23.
That is just the good old Mark Worthington.
Yeah.
In the block, turns and faces. Up fake. Tommy rises a touch and takes him off the dribble.
Man, he is relentless. Garlop lays it off to Kadee. Kadee with a floater in the paint. That's short. But the Kings just cannot find anything. Here's Tomlinson. Tomlinson swings it out, and his head coach, Chris Anstey, and misses a 3. That's what he used to do, and he killed the key. He must have having flashbacks to that 06 and 08 grand final when he was jacking those 3s and beating the Kings.
But he was a Tiger then. He hasn't played for United.
That's true, 41-23. Here's Garlop. Kings in this period, just the 5 points. And that's short.
They're living and dying by that 3.
Yeah, that's not going to get it.
No.
You've had
Jason Kadee that played before.
Yep.
Melbourne rebounds.
Don't shoot yourself away in this game. Just get back to what you do. See, here's the ball pressure again.
Oh, good D by Garlop that time. Chol picks it up. Here's Madgen. Madgen crosses over, kicks it out. Kevin White, corner 3, and it's short. Rebound Worthington. Here comes United. Wortho lays it off to Walker. Quickly to Corletto to kick it to Walker, and they slow it down. 2 minutes left to half-time. 14 on the shot clock. Tomlinson finds Worthington. Guarded by White. Falls away. It is short. Rebound Chol.
Hello.
Kings trying to make something happen before half-time. Chol. Kadee. Garlop. Garlop is just going to launch a 3, and it's long. And yeah, Damien Cotter saying 3 threes in a row. Meanwhile, Walker steps out of bounds. Just cannot find anything on the interior at the moment. They don't have their bigs, but there's even no penetration inside.
No penetration. There's also no cuts to the basket.
Timeout has been called by.
It's hard to. The Kings have been playing such beautiful basketball. They really have in the past month or 3 weeks, whatever it may be. And now you're asking players to do things that they haven't had to do for the last 3 weeks. So Tommy's having to play a different type of role where, you know, a 3-man Kevin White may have to do more on the glass, and Madge is having to play down low sometimes in the zone. Things that they're just not comfortable with. That's terrible to have to coach. That's terrible to have to coach.
I totally agree with you. But I can tell you what, tomorrow's not going to be any different.
Yeah.
So you have to quickly adjust. It's like in the heat of the game where the opposition changes defensive, strategy. You just have to adjust. And you know, last 3 possessions, 3-pointers is not going to get it when you're down, 20 points.
And the thing is, it's we've been here before. This is exactly the point in the game. Melbourne United found themselves against Townsville, and then obviously they were up 19 at the half last night. Townsville found a way to win, but by the same token, Townsville had their full squad, and the Kings have just been decimated by injury.
Yeah, I mean, but energy is different.
Yes,
and we're not got no energy. Absolutely no energy, and that's the minimum you should have when you've got 3 starters out, or 2 starters and a very big 6-man player.
They've been flat pretty much from the get-go. Here's Gulls looking to make something happen against Kickett. Kickett pushes him out. Now he goes into the paint. He fades away, and he scores, and he's fouled.
Good timeout, good offense.
That's
Get the
Daniel
ball down
Kickett's
low.
3rd personal foul, and Tom Garlop, who again has been outstanding in the preseason, found a way to score it and drew the foul.
I like how they run that. That was obvious. Get the ball in the block, take it at him. That's his 3rd.
High percentage basketball.
Now McMillan has got 3 as well, so go at him straight away.
Yeah.
He's not going to want to get his 4th. He knows he won't play in the second half much if he does.
At halftime, we're going to have a very, very special guest, one of the all-time greats of Australian basketball. Ryan Curl will join us as Garlop has the 3-point play, so you don't want to miss that. We're going to have just a 2-minute break, and then we're going to have the great man himself, Brian Curl. Here's Worthington, faces up against Chol. Now Walker. Walker goes into the paint, fires away, no good. Offensive rebound, McMillan, but Garlop says no way. Here's Perry on the break to Magin, pulls up from 3 and is short. Good. That was a good look, though. But again,
you don't mind that one.
In the context of things, you probably want to see something going to the basket.
I have no problems with that. That's a good push. Magin, a 3-point shooter. No problems with that at all.
Perry steals it. Here we go. This is going to be a highlight reel. Perry throws it down with 2 hands. That's what that young man is renowned for, and he brings the crowd alive. 41-28, steal and throwdown from KP. Here's Walker. Now McMillan. McMillan, Walker going left. Walker, strong move to the hoop and scores. Lucas Walker, and that's what he can do. Big, strong man, and a great move from Lucas. 43-28. Kings will play for the last shot. Down 15. Here's Perry. Getting a pick from Garlop. Perry, fouled by McMillan, and he'll go to the line, and that's his 4th. And that's a poor foul by McMillan. That'll send Perry to the line for 2. Kendrick Perry, Bruce, that steal and dunk, you'd hope the young man would be a little bit energised by that play.
Well, you know what, and I'm glad he dunked the way he did, because in the previous dunks where he went one-handed, he just took off from too far away and he would miss. But that particular one, he knew he had someone chasing him down, so he took the more safe and secure approach.
Missed the first free throw. Second free throw is good. So 43-29.
Well, some interesting stubs here, probably more for fouls.
Yeah,
so they don't
Daniel
want anyone
Joyce,
to be any
Kevin White.
He was even back out there.
Yeah.
Daniel Joyce and Kevin White replaced Magin and Perry. 2.8 seconds left. Here's Tomlinson to Worthington. Worthington with a running start, launches it, and almost made it from just before the halfway line. And that's the end of the first half. When you score the Melbourne United 43, the Sydney Kings 29, and Bruce, that period where United had that massive run, 21-3, but the Kings just in the last minute, not quite out of it just yet.
Well, I think the run started from the Kings' poor decision in offense, and a lot of those was that 4 3-point attempts in a row, which allowed the Melbourne United to get going offensively in the fast break and control the tempo. Kings kind of settled themselves a little bit more in that last minute or so, which is good going into the halftime locker room.
Okay, we're just going to run through the stats for you. Then we're going to take just a 1-minute break, and then we're going to have the great Brian Curl join us for a halftime chat. So Melbourne United end the half shooting 43% from the field. They're just 3 of 13 from 3, 10 of 14 from the free throw line. They're led by Mark Worthing. Jordan McRae has 13 points on 4 of 7 from the field with 3 rebounds. Owen Odygie has 7. Mark Worthington 8 off the bench. For the Kings, they shoot just 36% at halftime, 12 of 33. They haven't hit a 3 as yet, 0 of 8. And they're just 5 of 14 from the free throw line. That's hurting them. They're led by Ben Madgen. He's got 8. Kendrick Perry has 6 and Cody Ellis 7. Rebound count favouring Melbourne, as you'd expect. Massive disparity. The United 28 to 15 rebound count. Points in the paint favour Melbourne 22 to 14. And turnover count is 7 apiece. So with that, there's about 10 minutes left in the halftime break. As I said, we're just going to take a 1-minute break. We'll be right back with you. Stay with us. You're watching the NBL Blitz. Welcome back to the 2014 NBL Blitz here at NAB Stadium in Auckland Flower in Brisbane. And right now it's my honour and extreme pleasure to welcome to the mic one of the all-time greats in Australian basketball, and it's probably understating it. This man has done so much for the game in this country. NBL championship winner as a coach, Australian Olympian. He's done it all. One of the great marketing promoters, people that we've ever seen, the great Brian Curl. Thanks for joining us at the NBL Blitz.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for having us, mate.
Just wanted to get your thoughts, mate. Obviously, the NBL Blitz in Brisbane. Brisbane has been without a team for far too long. This is such a great city for basketball. I mean, you were here, you were responsible really for the boom times, sort of in that late 80s, early 90s bracket. But good to see the support for this tournament.
It is. It's just sitting here reminiscing back to '84 when I came back here from Melbourne.
Yeah.
This place, we packed it out here with 1,500 people, nearly 2,000 there one night. Wasn't legitimate how we did it, but the council let us do it. But the crowds then were fantastic, and the following, and we built it up and built it up. But yeah, we all want Brisbane back in the NBL, and this is a great concept of the NBL to bring the Blitz back here and start to get that interest going again, because like you said, 5 years is too long.
Yeah.
I mean, it is something that we're very proud to hear that they're looking toward it. Is that something that you think you'll get involved with?
Bruce, I keep saying to myself, I don't really need to, but when I come back here and I see this, then the heart starts pumping and the pulse starts racing, and I'd love to be involved. I've always said that I'm available if they want me. They know how to contact me, there's no doubt about that, and just talk to me, and if I got ideas and things like that, I just want to see the game prosper. I'm not worried about Brian Curl or anything else. If basketball prospers, the NBL prospers, then everybody in the basketball community will prosper out of it.
Yeah. You took the game from this place to Boondall Entertainment Centre and you regularly packed it out. What was the... Whoa, someone just hit a half-court shot right in front of us. We love to see that. Gets the high five. What was it that obviously it helped having a superstar like Leroy Loggins, and you had Cal Bruton, and you had Robert Sibley, the baseline bandit, who had all those names.
Larry
Sengstock, of course. John Dorge, the chicken farmer, and all of that. Yeah, can't forget Long John Dorge. Yeah. But what was it? I mean, what was the secret back then, in the 80s? Because it wasn't as though basketball was a huge sport, but you drove it so well to be where it really became a household name. You had the Mushroom at Boondall, and Leaping Leroy and Ronnie the Rat, and everybody and it right through. Obviously bringing in Derek Rucker and Andre Moore going to that grand final. But I guess how did you do it? Is the question?
Well, the blueprint of it was that, and you look around here, the kids and the families. That's who I targeted. If you can get them and the regular players, then they're going to come to 75-80% of the games. Joe Citizen walking down the street might come to one in about 50 or one every 3 years, something like that. So there's your ready market. But we went to the schools. We got out to the schools. We were doing 8-10 schools a week. We got to the shopping centres, the big malls, at least 2 or 3 times a week. I used to get up every morning, not every morning, but 2 or 3 mornings a week, go to the radio stations and just knock on the door and said, hey, it's Brian Curl from the Bullets. I didn't wait for them to ask me. I went there and they said, oh, why do you hear Curly, you want to go on radio and do this? So it was just a matter of, in those days, the players used to ask you, Curly, what can we do to help them make the game big? Right. Now, unfortunately, it's how much do we get for doing it to make the game big? And, okay, I don't expect players to do it for nothing and if there's money in the game, but now I think if Brisbane start again, they need to go back to that sort of stage.
Well, in saying that, the players should know that if that's the frame of mind that they're in, the more they go out there and connect with the community and sponsors, the more opportunities for the income to come in. So it is a balancing act that needs to happen, and I think it should be more initiated from the NBL, having that discussion, that open discussion with themselves and the players, because they all are in this for one reason, for it to prosper, for the profile to lift.
Well, that's exactly right, Bruce. And what we had is that more people came. Nobody wanted to be involved. Our total sponsorship was 20-odd thousand, I think, in '84. Yeah. And our budget was 80,000. Yeah. But as the crowds grew, then the sponsors wanted to come on board. Yeah. Yeah. Then the radio stations wanted to see. The journos were ringing you up. It multiplied. It was a big dominoes effect. And that's, you're right. Exactly. And how hard is that to do? And we didn't have any money to spend on promotion. I had everything on radio, TV was gratis. We did a contra deal on everything. And don't forget, in '84 when I took over here, they were $30,000 in debt in the red, and I had to find that plus my own wages. So I had a bit of an incentive too to make it work.
Yeah. And what's your opinion on today's NBL? I mean, obviously the big talking point has been this crop of imports, which I always talk about the NBL, the golden age of which you were a part of, sort of that, as I said, that late 80s to early 90s, and some of the players that came out of that, the Ricky Graces, the Dwayne McLeans, and Scott Fisher and so forth. But on paper anyway, Sydney brings in a Josh Childress. Unfortunately, he's out tonight. Talked about Scotty Wilbekin, out of the University of Florida, went to the Final Four. DeAndre Daniels won the national championship with UConn last year. And Jordan McRae, an NBA draft pick as well. And what's your impression of the league and what they've done to really start bringing back this talent to Australia?
Well, like last night was the first time I've seen probably a decent NBL games, and we know these kids are going to get better and these men are going to get better. But I just, the crop of the Americans here that I've seen, I'm very impressed with. But I'm also impressed, I was impressed with the New Zealand team, the athletes on the teams. I'm impressed with the Melbourne team. I've never seen so many great athletes in the NBL. And I mean super athletes. And I don't think like 1 or 2 or 3 in a team. I'm talking about 6 or 7. Yeah. It's scary. I'd hate to be somebody that's underweight out there playing.
Which is all the more reason why this season is going to be exciting. You come here and it's been sold out for the last week, and everyone here is getting their money's worth from the warm-ups with the dunks to the games.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And you got look. The other reason we were successful getting the boon on that is that we sold a complete package. We knew that people were coming to the games that weren't basketball people, so we had to give them something else to walk about. They said, I didn't know much about the game, but geez, the mushroom was good, the dancing girls were good, the band was good. Yeah. So we gave a whole package. So people went away, I enjoyed this part of the night. Yeah. So they didn't walk away and say, it's just a basketball game. Yeah. There was other things that we threw at them and give them, and I think that's what really worked for us.
Well, with about a minute and 20 seconds left to the end of the halftime break, we'll leave it there, and we thank the great Brian Curl very much for his time, and we all hope that we'll see him in some capacity for the relaunched Brisbane Bullets.
Well, I'm available, that's for sure, and I'll even swim back from Thailand to do that.
Thanks, Coach Curl.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, man.
So 1 minute left, 43-29. And once again, we thank Brian Cool so much for his interview. And Bruce, that's a great man, and really someone that the NBL needs to use, quite frankly. And needs to, they need his counsel.
Totally agree with you, and you can just tell when after you ask him the question, that passion start coming out.
Yep.
And it's something that you and I both love to see, love to be a part of, and love seeing and hearing someone come out with that passion. Even if it's eating chips or sausage rolls.
Brad Rosen tempting all and sundry with the hot chips. Now, for those of you watching who haven't been watching Bruce and I on Sydney Kings TV, and Brad for that matter, with the Sydney Kings games in the preseason, yes, Brad Rosen has a thing for hot chips. He's determined to try hot chips in every venue we've been to, including Auchenflower. So, all right, what's the verdict? Come on.
I'm not eating any. I just bought them from you guys.
Oh, yeah, okay, sure. Yeah. All right. Ball back in play. Second half underway. Here's Perry. Daniel Joyce out there, which is interesting.
Very interesting.
No Jason Goodey. Here's Perry. Perry up, fakes the three. Now he goes all the way to the top of the key. He's looking for Garlop. Can't find him. 8 on the shot clock. Now Garlop has it. Garlop facing up against Worthington. Worthington bumps him. Garlop fades away. Scores!
Ooh.
What a shot by Garlop.
Good defence as well.
I was going to say that. Yeah.
Couldn't do any more than that.
Terrific stop by Wortho. A terrific defensive effort, but just Garlop just made a tough shot. 43-31. Back to 12. 9:24 left in the third period. McRae. Guarded by Perry. McRae going right. Ellis stops there. Imagine almost steals it. Walker gets it to Tomlinson. Tomlinson, 3-ball at the buzzer and knocks it down. Big triple, 46-31.
Very big, because he tried that in the first half and was 0 for 3.
Imagine, guarded by Audigy. Now Garlop. United themselves pretty small. Here's Perry athletically to the rack and is short. And now ahead of the pack is McRae. Here we go, McRae. Oh, Ellis, good job. But McRae basically just jumped over him and scored off the window. What a play. 48-31. 17-point ball game. Here's Magin with a pick from Ellis. Gets it inside. Garlop fades away and scores. Tom Garlop, 4 points in this period, keeping the Kings in this at 38-33.
Yeah, just about to say too. He's the only one that even looks like he's going to score at the moment.
Garlop with 9. And now Magin knocks it away and almost runs over our TV monitor. Our technical guru and producer James Bowman doing such a great job.
Too busy eating chips.
Too busy eating chips. You got busted. Here's Tomlinson, great move, kicks it out. Now Worthington, wide open 3, yes. That's a dagger from Wortho, 51-33. 18-point lead, 8 minutes left in the third period. Magin with a pull through. Pulls up, baseline jumper, yes.
That's tough.
He is so strong going right. That is just where his bread and butter is.
Kings loosening up offensively here in the opening stages, but Melbourne have responded with a pair of triples. Here's Worthington looking for the handoff. Still looking for it. Now McRae goes baseline. McRae stuffs it! What a big two-hand flush from Jordan McRae.
Well, they actually tried to get that going that whole time, and he didn't run in the right positions, and he still got it.
Yeah.
Joyce to Garlop. 15 on the shot clock. Garlop telling Perry to move. Kings a bit stagnant offensively. Now he dribble handoff to Perry. Here's Perry. Perry steps back, launches it. Got it! What a play by Kendrick Perry, and now he's pushed down by Walker, and the referee's just telling him to cool it a little bit. Imagine just having words with Lucas, and Damien Cotter saying let it go, walk away from it. It's good coaching there. 53-37.
Well, honestly, Lucas Walker was doing what he's supposed to be doing, running up the court and just happened to run over.
Oh, McRae, super pass, and Worthington jams it.
Nice.
Good penetration, found the open man, Wortho jammed it. 55-37. Ellis now steps into a trip. Oh, that's long.
Too early.
Yeah,
Rebound, Walker. Kings 0 of 9 from 3. Audigy finds Worthington. Nice pass inside to Walker, score it. And the Kings just have no answers for Melbourne United right now, and they're down by 20. Timeout, Damien Cotter, 57-37.
Well, they came out strong and they got a couple nice sets, but what kept Melbourne in was a 3 and then another 3 and then a back-to-back dunks, and now it's, took the air out of the Kings.
I tell you what, I'm looking over at the bench. One player in particular I looked at was looking down at the Melbourne Tigers as if, boy, I wish I was out there, and that's Josh Sugar.
Yeah, I saw that, yeah.
He's giving that look like, yeah, y'all starting to talk trash. You're up by 20. I'm sitting here in my street clothes. I wish like hell I could be out there.
Once again, just purely precautionary, Bruce.
Yeah.
All 3 players. And actually, Damien Cotter, Josh Childress and Angus potentially could have played. Had this been a regular season game, they might have taken the risk.
Then play them. No, I can understand it.
The thing is,
Josh especially, he hurt his shoulder on Thursday.
You don't want to take any...
That's still 36, or 48, 72 hours away. That's not enough. No.
Yeah. The Kings are going to have to understand they have to chip away, and they can't let opportunities where players cut to the basket and there's no one checking in for an easy little pass for them to finish. Those are
100%,
killers.
100%. Now for Damien Cotter, what you do is like, righto, fellas, okay, we're in this predicament. Let's chip away. All right, let's go 6 minutes. We're down by 20. Let's get that no less than 15.
Yeah.
Maybe 10 if it's great, but let's win 6-minute battles.
Ellis Worthington bodies him up. Now Garlett with Walker on him. Finds Perry wide open, launches a triple. That's short. McRae got a piece of it. Great play, Jordan McRae.
If that was the play, that's terrible. They're 0-6 or 9 or whatever they are from the three-point line. They shoot a 3 out of a timeout.
McRae getting a pick from Walker. Here's McRae athletically. Goes hard to the rack. Looked for the dunk and then changed his mind at last moment. Here's Perry turning on the Jets. Perry with a step through, banks it in. No offensive foul. No basket. Offensive foul.
Now that was one where he was in first gear the whole time. Nate Thomason was in front of him. Change gears, do a Westbrook in the break, pull up for the jumper.
He's definitely learning a lot over these last couple of games about what it is to be a professional, Bruce.
Well, he's going to have to. He should learn a lot from this weekend. If not, teams are not going to change, so he needs to make the adjustment.
Well, he's also going to be watching the other point guards, and I'm assuming that's what you're meaning as well. He's going to watch what they're doing in the games.
Tomlinson to Walker. Walker loses it, fumbles it, gets it back, but it's a kick ball, and that's a turnover.
Honestly, Brad, I think he just needs to slow it down a step. He's so fast to where his decision-making is not good when he's going 100 miles an hour. Bring it back to 80, make better decisions, be a more effective point guard.
Fair call. Ellis to inbound the ball. And Joyce is running the point right now for the Kings. Garland. Ellis. 16 on the shot clock. Worthington slapping at the ball.
Too stagnant, it's too slow.
Yep. Now Imagine on the curl and he's fouled, but bailed out a little bit. McRae does the KG move and stops the ball from going into the basket after the whistle was blown.
There's only probably about $193 million difference between
not including the new Nike sponsorship.
Oh yeah, well that was KD. I'm talking about KG.
KG. I thought you said KD.
Oh, Imagine falls out of bounds, falls right into the knocks over.
He lost his balance.
He lost his balance, flew right into the Melbourne bench, and completely out of control there was Imagine.
The old out of bounds take the coach out play, eh?
Yeah. Just looking at this here, and just lost his footing and banged into Chris Anstey, and then just
good screen by Anstey.
20-point lead, 5:25.
He's still got it.
Yeah, Kings trying to up the ante defensively, but they find Odyssey inside and he scores. So they break the pressure, 59-37, 5:10 left.
They break the pressure too easy.
Yeah. Kings' defensive effort, not what it's been in the last 7 games. Here's Imagine. Finds Joyce. Joyce launches a triple and no good. Kings 0 of 10 from 3. Rebound Worthington. Here's Worthington. Ellis in front of him. Still Worthington. Picks it out. McRae. Plays past Imagine. Layup is good. That's the issue with Ben Madgen, and that's his defensive movement. He's got a long way to go to get that right. 61-37, 4:35 left. Here's Garlop. Now Madgen. Back to Garlop. Garlop. Worthington goes to him. Garlop going baseline, kicks it out. Kevin White fakes. White just throws up a wild shot, and that is an offensive foul
at the
Kevin
moment.
White, and the Kings are just.
We spoke about it, I think it was at halftime or second quarter, Brad, where you said the Kings right now, they have players out there that are doing things that they're not used to doing.
Kevin White on those dribble drives,
yeah.
As an example.
We're lucky enough to get replays here, and both feet clearly outside the area.
Oh, it was
feet planted,
away.
definitely a charge.
Yep. And floor wipers clean the sweat off the floor. And just while we have a moment's pause here, remind everyone that the next game, we're going to have an hour break. So this is the first session.
Wollongong, Adelaide.
And the next game, Adelaide, Wollongong. Which
our
will be
first viewing of Wollongong. We haven't seen them yet.
That's right, followed by the final game of the night, New Zealand against Townsville, which
would be a beauty.
As things stand, could very well decide who wins the Loggins-Bruton Cup. Here's McRae. Kings fall back into his zone. McRae just blows past Madgen again. Short this time. Rebound, kicker, too big. Garlop tries to slap it, but Kickett finishes for two. 63-37, 4 minutes left in the third period. Garlop finds Kadee. Sorry, Ellis. Now back to Kadee. Here's Madgen. Madgen, right-hand dribble, goes in the paint, kicks it out, and he throws it away. And it's just been a litany of mistakes from the Kings, and they're just playing with absolutely no energy at the moment, and at both ends of the floor, guys.
Yeah, it's been taken completely out of them by the energy from the United.
Yeah.
United have been terrific, and they've just executed. They've kept their foot on the throat, unlike last night.
Exactly. How much you think, McRae has learned from yesterday's second half game?
And now Josh Childress has been called for a technical foul. Josh Childress on the Kings bench yelling at the referee.
I did say to you a few minutes ago that he had been looking at the Tigers bench.
It'll be one shot. Kings huddle up. The Childress is furious.
See, what does the coach do now? If a player gets a tech foul on the court, he takes him out. But he's on the bench and not dressed.
And he's in street clothes, yeah.
Guess who's going to be ready the next time the Sydney Kings play Melbourne United?
Wow.
Street clothes or not.
Just looking at the replay on the referee's monitor here, and it's rather Josh Childress just standing next to Jordan McRae and just giving it to the official. All back in play, 64-37, 27-point lead. Kick it, Corletto against Ellis. Gets a pick. Now Worthington launches two only from the line and knocks it down. 66-37.
Is that 29?
29-point lead. Now Madgen fumbles it away to Garlop. Garlop just faces up, fires away and scores. And Tom Garlop, 6 points in this period, and really the only reliable offensive threat the Kings have got right now.
Well, it's one shot. There's not even a hope they're going to get the offensive rebound because there's no one in there.
Worthington. Up fakes. Now steps into a jumper and Luke scores, and that's just that great experience. And Wortho is just turning on an absolute show in the moment.
Just a face up, jab, pull up for the jumper. Simple game.
And now he steals it out of bounds.
Well, if you're Damien Cotter, you just actually want this to end.
Yeah.
There is nothing positive coming out of this game at all. The energy is down. The players are not playing in any areas that they would be ready for.
That's right. And you look at the body language.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Garlop, 8 seconds of the shot clock. Garlop fights his way to the basket. Left hand is good. Tom Garlop, 8 points in the period, and it's 68-41. Here's Worthington, who's been brilliant in this third period. Going baseline. Offensive foul the other way. Corletto with a moving screen. And Kings possession on the turnover. Just over 2 minutes left. Here's Kendrick Perry.
Yeah, it was Coletto. It was Coletto.
Ellis. Perry. Up fakes. Gets a pick. Now isolated against Worthington. Perry tries to attack the basket. Bad decision. Worthington throws it off Perry, and Kendrick Perry is having a night to forget right now. Apart from that great two-hand dunk off the steal, but hasn't learned any lessons, Bruce.
Well, you know what? He just came off a handoff. Just come off that. One dribble, pull up for the jumper.
Here's Worthington. Wide open three. Bagger. Worthington is just destroying the Kings right now. He's got 20 and the lead is 30, 71-41. Worthington putting on a show against his old club. Ellis to Perry. Imagine it launches a triple and he misses. Worthington all over the glass, and here's McRae. Just over a minute left. McRae pulls it out. Guarded by Garland. McRae, hesitation dribble. Goes into the paint. What a play, Jordan McRae. 73-41.
Wow, they can just do whatever they want at the moment, and it's just very lucky with the body language, like you said. Now,
30, just looking at the scores here, 30-12 in this period alone.
Tell you what, the Melbourne Tigers, the Melbourne Tigers, they still have Steve Dennis to come to this team.
It's frightening, isn't it?
This
is the team. This is the team
and
we
Barlow's not playing today.
Exactly, we forget. So they're without Stephen Dennis and David Barlow, and when Mark Worthington is shooting the ball like that, Jordan McRae is going to be basically unstoppable, I believe, in this league. They are going to be frightening. And Daniel Kickett's been quiet. Now Perry pulls up in his long rebound, Worthington. And the last 10 minutes, I think Damien Cotter will say, don't foul. just play. Don't put a hand on him. Here's Daniel Kickett going to work. Kicks it out. Worthington up fakes the three. Goes into the paint, launches it, and he's got it. Mark Worthington. Wow. Just an explosive
At the moment,
period.
I think he could kick it and it will go in.
14 in the period. He's got 22 in the ball game. 75-41. 7 seconds left. Perry crosses over. Still Perry against McRae. Puts it up and he's short. Rebound Ellis, and that's too late. Didn't drop anyway. And that's the end of the third period. A thoroughly dominant Melbourne United lead the Sydney Kings 75-41. We're going to take a 30-second break. We'll be right back with you. Stay with us. You're watching the NBL Blitz.
We've got them to put on the gigantic rugby jersey. And they'll run to the half-court line and do 3 full twists with the hula hoop. 3 of them, and put the gigantic shoes on. And then race across to the basketball. Go basketball and put the basketball in the hoop. First one to do so wins a prize. Ready, set, go. Put it on the jersey. Cheer them on.
Welcome back to the NBL Blitz. That score again is the Melbourne United 75, Sydney Kings 41. We're just waiting on stats to come through for the period. The United shooting 57% from the field, 73% from the free throw line, and 6 of 16 from the line. They're led from the three-point line, I should say. They're led by Mark Worthington, who's got 22 points and 10 rebounds. He had 14 in that quarter alone. Jordan McRae, very impressive, more consistent tonight. He's got 21 points on 8 of 13 shooting. Owen Odyge's played solidly. He's got 9 points. Lucas Walker has 8, and Nate Tomlinson 6. For the Kings, really a tale of woe. They're 18 of 46 for the field, 39%, 0 of 12 from 3. just 5 of 14 from the free throw line. They didn't even get to the free throw line in that period, incredibly. They're led by Tom Garlop. He's got 13 points. Ben Madgen has 10. Rebound count favours the United 35 to 17. Points in the paint, Melbourne 40 and Sydney 16. So, Bruce, yeah, Kendrick Perry, we'll talk about him in a moment. 7 turnovers to the three-quarter time break. He's now...
well, now it's just about winning the quarter.
Yep.
Win the quarter.
Marco Alexander in the game. He's Perry and he's fouled. And again, that one speed that he's showing. And so, yeah, Brad, you had to listen into that huddle. So Damien Cotter's message, win the quarter.
Yeah, that's all it was. You know, you got to take something out of this. We understand, you know, we're down, we're undermanned, but it doesn't mean we don't play with the Sydney Kings temperament that we should be playing. So go out and get this quarter.
Garlop fires away and misses. Rebound, Walker.
Just the energy. That's all you want to see.
Alexander.
See, that's what I look at the ball pressure. Yep. That's what should have been coming 30 minutes ago.
Forces the turnover, and that's what you need. Here's Kadee. United are back. Finds Garlop. Madgen to Garlop. Now Ellis for 3. That's way off. That's an air ball. 0 of 13 the Kings are now from 3. Here's Pauletto, and there's a foul off the ball. Ben Madgen furious, but he's been called for the foul. Blocking foul on Madgen. And it'll be Melbourne possession with Pauletto to inbound.
Lucas Walker is very big and strong.
Yeah. He's got a good frame on him. He's just got to really understand that 4 spot.
Good hands by Kadee, but Pauletto recovers. 5 on the shot clock. 4. Kadee pressuring Pauletto, has to launch a wild shot, misses. Rebound Madgen. A couple of good stops by the Kings. Here's Madgen on the break, and Walker chases it down. Madgen didn't see him. There's no communication there from the Sydney Kings. Here's Otaji. Now attacks the hoop. Strong move by Owen Otaji. He's fouled on the floor.
Well, he's been impressive.
He has. I was just about to say, Brad. Very impressive tonight.
He's come out and taken his minutes.
He's got a very quick first step.
He does, yeah. And I said it before as well, I don't think this is something that United are going to look at. Like, certainly DMAC and Nancy, they're going to think, well, that's what we see every day at training. Yeah. It's just nice to see it come on the court.
Yeah.
Just goes to show how much depth this club is going to have when you add Stephen Dennis and David Barlow into the lineup. It's extraordinary. Otaji, Pauletto, Kings fall back into a zone. Marco Alexander, and there was an offensive foul there as Perry's hit by Daniel Kickett. It's Kickett's 4th personal foul. 8:18 left.
2 of them has been illegal screens.
Joel to Perry. Garlop. And now there's another foul here has been called against, I believe, Owen Otaji.
Yeah.
Too physical with Madgen that time.
Well, Madgen decided to make a tight curl on him, and Otaji just wasn't in a good position.
Kadee. More ball movement. More movement off the ball. Perry splits the double team, goes into the paint and is short with it. Rebound United. Comes Walker pushing up the floor. Kings are back. Pauletto with the ball. Guarded by Kadee. Looking for Kickett in the low block. Kickett. Madgen on his back, and now there's a foul as Madgen's been called again for a pull through. And referee just warns Madgen. Madgen just goes off and says, yeah, okay, mate. Fair enough.
Madge only play one way.
I don't know if you saw Kickett there, but he was not happy at all in Otaji.
Had cut.
Yes,
yeah.
he cut, but cut to him, so he didn't let him go to work down low.
Well, not only that, his cut was a little slow.
Right.
He should have cut initially or don't cut at all.
Yeah.
Neither team has scored in this period so far, so I guess the Kings have fought to a draw. I'm trying to find a positive if you're a Sydney Kings fan. It hasn't been much to smile about.
Well, it's nice weather apparently today in Sydney.
So is that right?
Yeah.
There you go.
So there's always something positive.
And the Swans did win last night.
Yeah.
And I believe a certain football team playing NRL wearing red, white and blue.
Go you mighty Roosters.
You are definitely the black sheep of your family. The rest of your family are mad Rabbitohs fans. And here you are supporting the Roosters.
And
what happened?
I will not be speaking to them all week until Friday night.
So the Kings come out. Kadee, Madgen, Garlop, Perry and Chol. Remembering, I mean, you know, to be fair, they're running 8 players tonight, this afternoon I should say. And got some old school arcade game music in the background.
Wow.
No,
Frogger.
yeah, you're not wrong.
Is that Frogger?
Oh, it's Super Mario.
Ah, there you go.
Sounded like Galactica.
Galaga. Ball back in play. Here's Odyssey. Good move, strongly to the paint. Gets his own rebound, misses, gets his own rebound, scores.
Nice.
Really like the energy and activity of Owen Odyssey.
And I think him and Madge is kind of going having a personal battle.
Here's Chol, looks at a 3, turns it down. Looking for someone to give it to. He just doesn't want to take the shot. He now loses it. Stolen. They're on the floor and it's tied up.
Fella. Shoot that jumper.
Kings
you're down by 30.
Well, you can't blame him. They are 14.
Better to have a missed shot than a TO.
Good point. Said like a pure offensive player right there.
He played a little D at his time, let's be fair. Come on.
When?
Oh, when? Bruce Bolden.
He was the enforcer for us.
Here's Perry getting a pick from Garlop. Still Perry. Perry goes to the rack, score it, the foul.
That's 5 on Kick It.
And Kickett's gone. So that's Daniel Kickett's night over, and Kendrick Perry finally gets something to happen off the dribble, but it hasn't been his night whatsoever. And you know, he's been very good, obviously, against non-NBL opposition, and played very well against the Wollongong Hawks. But last couple of games against, you know, obviously Damien Martin and Jermaine Bill is one thing, and then playing against United with all their size and.
Well, you're playing up against, it's very different to play Korean teams, Chinese teams, college teams, as opposed to NBL teams.
Yeah.
Well, he's playing against point guards similar to himself.
Yeah.
Now he's playing against some serious veterans and established players, and that's another moving screen.
Offensive foul on McMillan.
You know
this
what?
time.
That's definitely a moving foul, but I actually don't blame McMillan there. The person with the ball went too early. You have to wait for your screener to get established, especially in this league that get calls moving screen. You need to hold up for a split second longer and let your man get established, then come off.
Kendrick Perry with 7 minutes left in the ball game. Garlop, Chol, inside.
Ooh.
And Kadee fumbles it away momentarily. Here's Kadee. Looking for Garlop. They double team him quickly. Kadee finally finds Garlop. 6 on the shot clock, 5. Garlop spins, fires a tough shot and makes it! How in the heck did he make that shot? Well, Tommy Garlop.
He's made that shot from the way he's been playing.
Oh, now Odyssey the other way. Garlop rejects it, and there's a foul. And you know, the Kings ought to take a lesson from Tom Garlop tonight, because you know the game is over. 31 points down. He is still busting his hump all over the floor. He just hasn't stopped trying.
Yeah.
And you know, unfortunately, a couple of his teammates just haven't had the same level of consistent energy, I would say, and consistent effort. They brought it at times, Bruce, but just not long enough for often enough.
Well, I just think the disappointing thing is the energy.
Yeah.
Like, I got no problems with losing this game.
Yep.
You know, with 3 starters.
Oh,
going
absolutely.
out, no,
absolutely.
But I just don't like the energy. That's why.
Well, you should have to wonder, why is it not there? Because on Thursday night, trust me,
it was there.
It was there in spades.
Yeah.
And maybe, to be fair, that look, let's face it, playing the Perth Wildcats is going to take a lot out of any team. And having to go against that team on I was talking to Tommy Gallup after the game. That floor at Ipswich was hard as a rock.
Yeah, but I
very hard on the cards.
You know
they
what?
had a day to recover.
Exactly.
They did.
And 2 days. It's Saturday. They played Thursday. Oh, sorry, my mistake. They did day and a half. So, no, that's more than enough.
Yeah.
You're playing against United. Those are the two teams that are saying are going to win it.
McRae with his great leg. What a great pass to Lucas Walker. And
nice
he reverses it up and in. And really like Jordan McRae's game. I think he learned a valuable lesson and he's put it into practice tonight.
Yeah.
He's been terrific. Great pass to Walker right there. Ellis to Perry. 11 on the shot clock. Perry. They double team him. He goes wide cross court to Magin. Now Kadee. 3 in the air and that's way off. Tough night at the office for Jason Kadee as well. Here's Worthington, who has been deadly tonight. Dribble handoff. He hands it off to McRae. Just goes to the rack with a great ease and scores.
Too easy. Where is the weak side help there?
81-48. Garland to Magin. Magin going right. Magin finds Kadee. They're looking for Garland. They find him. Garland fades, fires, and it's an air ball this time. I think Walker got a piece of it. Here's Worthington.
Straight into
Worthington just goes right to the rack, score it. And this is getting completely out of hand now. 83-48. Timeout Sydney. And
what's that?
It's
5
minutes to go, guys.
Wow.
We've actually got a long way to go here. And this really is getting embarrassing.
Yeah, you know, the word of energy is what we're speaking about.
Yeah.
They're lacking that big time at the moment. Well, let's put another word to it: pride.
Yeah.
You know, you can have a lack of energy. You got to have pride as an individual professional player, and both
again,
at the moment are missing.
And I feel like I may be being a little too hard on them because again they are down 3 players, both they're big guys. Josh Childress, their superstar NBA.
Sorry, man. I know what you're saying. You can be hard, but no, energy is not that. You bring that every day of the week. You bring that every day of the week. You don't need to have good players to be that. And there's guys here that are going to be fighting for minutes when those 3 players come back. You should be demanding minutes from the coach. I'm ready. I don't care who's out, coach. I'm ready to play. And make the coach make a decision. Guys like the Daniel Joyces, the Kevin Whites, these guys that are even Tom Garlick's great, but Jason Kadee, these guys that are going to be like forcing for extra minutes. You got to be demanding it.
Well, here, you speak of, and I'll give you a point. The way Kendrick is playing at the moment is the perfect opportunity for Jason to be in there, stepping up, having a very productive game, which would be demanding the regular minutes.
Here's Perry. Perry pulls up and no good. Offensive rebound. Child taps it out to White. The Kings will reset. Now Ellis launches a 3 and misses. Kings 0 of 14 from 3.
Well, they get the offensive rebound, 1 pass, 3.
When they've gone 0 of 14.
Here's McRae. He's been very impressive in this game. McRae, shake and bake, goes into the paint. Nice pass to Walker, reverse layup, misses. Rebound Chol, here come the Kings. Perry explodes into the paint. Perry banks it in, wild shot, no good.
Very wild.
Rebound Walker.
And he dropped his head after that as well.
We've seen some great guards, in this preseason so far. We just got off seeing a great one, Scotty Wilbekin, who couldn't have been even more impressive as Perry fouls Odygy. And obviously you've got Damien Martin and Jermaine Beale in Perth, and Jamar Wilson in Adelaide we like a lot, and Gary Irvin and Jahi Carson in Wollongong, and it's a lot of pressure.
Cairns, they got some 2 nice.
Yeah, as well, we talked about, Scotty Wilbekin, but I'm sort of more thinking about the guard play, and so critical in this league, Bruce.
Yeah. I mean, and I'll touch on the guards, the important. Jeez Christ.
McRae just strong to the rack and scores. So smooth, and boy, what a talent he is. 85-48.
Imagine training with these guys. Imagine the competition that's going on at training between the starters and the bench. Wow.
No Barlow, no Stephen Dennis, and they lead the Kings by 37. And amazingly enough, before this game, Melbourne had never played Sydney in the pre-season, which is hard to believe, but or they think the Tigers. I may have got that stat wrong. I just recall they played in Kilsyth a couple of years ago, but
you meant United.
Yeah, United. Oh, and by the way, your brother says that you're not his brother after tomorrow. Warren Rosen, of course, former assistant coach of the Kings, and now Kevin White and Jordan McRae talking to White. White is looking quizzically. McRae not happy.
Well,
so, Kevin must have done something on the.
Now he's called a double foul, but how that is not a technical foul for throwing a ball in a player is beyond me.
That's why it's a double.
So
they're calling it a secondary unnecessary foul. We're just getting the word from the referee in front of us.
Clear that up. It's definitely a foul from Kevin White, but I was always under the impression if you threw a ball, that's classed as a technical, not a personal foul. We will try and clear that. There's no question of a foul, and I think Kevin White, no question with a foul. He just didn't feel that he fouled enough to be able to have it warranted of throwing the ball at him. But like I said, personal foul.
They're still chattering away, Jordan McRae and Kevin White. They're still chattering at each other here. 2 shots for Jordan McRae. Now, Lucas Walker has a word to White. Kings, of course, their next game is tomorrow at midday against the Taipans. And Bruce, we just got off talking, finished talking about Scotty Wilbeck, and Kendrick Perry's going to have his hands full with that young man.
Well, when we were talking about the guard play,
yeah,
the importance of a guard winning ball games is vital. You think about the last championships that have been won; they've had very, very good point guards, and so that's a key part of your team being successful.
15 on the shot clock. And Worthington steals it. What a play. Here comes Wortho. Wortho, 2-hand jam. Worthington has been outstanding, and the Melbourne United lead the Sydney Kings by 40. 88-48. 2:52 left. Here's Chol finding White. White kicks it to Kadee. Kadee launches a triple, and finally the Kings make one. Their first 3-pointer of the night. 88-51. Here's McRae, guarded by White. McRae, White stays right with him and he fouls him, and McRae falls and just bounces up, shakes his head, go to the line for 2.
He can't stop me, that's what he's saying.
Yep.
Amazing how your confidence go to 2 levels when you're up by 40.
yeah, it's true, isn't it?
That's one way of putting it. It'll be McRae at the line.
But again,
26.
with that move, he started over here on the right side, penetrated to the middle, and then reversed for the layup attempt.
I know where you're going.
There was no weak side help whatsoever.
No, he was still one-on-one at the end.
Yeah.
It was one of your big talking points last year with the Kings team, Bruce, that finished out of the playoffs, was the lack of weak side help. The teams were penetrating at will on them, especially in the second half of that season.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Perth's defense last year. It was weak side help, and it was in your face. Ooh, shit.
Ellis that was an ugly possession. Ellis travelled first of all. The referee let him get away with it. Then he threw it away, and then there was a foul. And now it's 2 shots, and
that's 5 on Kevin.
Kevin White, his night is over. He'll sit with 5. And Damien Cotter's looking for someone on the bench. Finally, Ben Madgen gets up.
Well, in Boddy's article this morning, he did say that Bruce looks good enough to play.
Oh,
so
yeah,
he
did say that.
You may be needed.
He said Bruce looks fit enough to play. In his blog, The Great Body Nodge, he needs to be substituted out. Absolutely. Get your jersey on there.
I tell you what.
I bet you there'll be weak side help. I bet you there'll be weak side help.
You give me one player that I can pick to come out there with me so we can get a good on-ball screen situation. For 3 minutes is all he wants.
Yeah. That's all he's got.
Here's Madgen. Madgen spins and is fouled. with 2:07 left. King of the elbow jumpers, I always called him. There were two men I always thought great mid-range game in the NBL. One was Chuck Harmison, just that foul line jumper, unerring, and the other was my partner here, Bruce Bolden, one of the all-time greats. But from the elbow, that was money.
Cha-ching, cha-ching.
Yep, just
I did like that spot.
What do you mean did? Still do.
Imagine makes the second free throw. It's 92-52. 2:03 left. And United are going to win all 7 points on offer here.
6.5, I will correct you
check
there.
that. You're quite right. 6.5.
Hey, the Kings got half.
They did, of course. It was, and that's interesting, Brad, when you look at it as Worthington short. The Kings were tied at 18 with United at the end of the first.
Yeah,
and since
that's
then,
right.
it's just been a procession.
That's right.
Here's Ellis. Dumps it down low, and Chol gets it and scores. So, nice for the young man to get another basket. 92-54.
Well, there's a fight back. They bring it back to 38.
The comeback's on. Worthington throws it away. And here's Joyce sprinting down the court. Alexander's back. Joyce goes in and he's fouled.
Good take, Daniel. That's a well done. There's the weak side help you were talking about. He had his really what should be happening, and Bruce talks about it all the time. Your back or your backside, as people like to say, you should have facing the baseline. That way you're open to the stance, and when you're under 12s, you're taught to point your fingers like guns and stuff, and you point towards the ball and your defender. And in that time it was perfect, and he saw exactly where the ball was going, and he snapped it up and ran down, and always looked good in the open court in that nation.
Joyce 2 of 2 at the line. 92-56. 120 left. And here's Alexander. Carrying the ball, got away with it. Now Odygy. Odygy kicks it across cross-court to Corletto. Now Worthington going baseline. Worthington lays it off to Walker. Left hand is good. Great play. Good pass by Wortho inside to Walker, and he finished off. 94-56. Now Odygy steals it. Here's Odygy. Odygy goes hard to the rack. Layup is good. Back to a 40-point game again, 96-56.
Well, I was just about to say it was 34 points at three-quarter time, and the Kings actually had a chance there if they didn't turn it over the last two times to win the quarter.
Yeah.
As crazy as that sounds.
Imagine. Finds Ellis. Ellis turns and is fouled and just misses.
Okay, so now we look at the next game. It's this one's all but done, probably about half an hour ago. But Wollongong, we get to see two very flashy point guards.
Interesting to see how Adelaide responds from last night, Brad. They were so disappointing in that game, particularly in the second half, and New Zealand just dominated really for most of it. Adelaide had their patches, but and did fight back in the last period, admittedly, when they were down by 20, got it back to 12.
Well, fouls really hurt Adelaide last night, especially Gibbo. He's a big part of them, Adam Gibson. So,
and obviously from a Wollongong perspective, great to see Jaheed Carson as Alexander misses a three. Kadee tracks it down. 23 seconds left. And here's Ellis. Now Imagine launches a three that's long. Rebound Odygy and gives it up to Worthington. Worthington's just going to get over the halfway line and he's going to dribble it out. Great performance by Melbourne. The score was tied at 18, but in the last three quarters, it's been all Melbourne United and they have destroyed the Sydney Kings, 96-58. Mark Worthington, a dominant force, and they did it mainly without Daniel Kickett, Bruce, and obviously they were without David Barlow and Stephen Dennis. A great effort.
Well, it was, and you have to give the Tigers credit. They responded from yesterday's loss. And I think McCray particularly responded from that because he had such a great first half. In the second half, he just couldn't get going. So great effort.
We're joined by victorious Melbourne coach Chris Anstey, and Chris, great way for the guys to bounce back after the defeat last night.
Yeah, look, I think we've played 3 out of 4 good halves for the weekend. We made some adjustments pretty quick against the zone, and Sydney sat in the zone most of the night. We thought they would. Thought some of the adjustments we made I was really happy with. We walked through for 10 minutes before the game, the boys bought in and the ball moved better. I think if you're setting on-ball screens, man, or zone, good things happen with the group we've got. So, look, Sydney was very undermanned. I mean, they're missing both their two key bigs. Tommy Garland had a hell of a game, and look, we're pretty good right now against undermanned teams. We played Townsville at full strength, and they showed us up. So that's about where we're at.
Well, you still would have to be happy with the energy, particularly the way McRae sort of made the adjustments from yesterday. He had a great game, great first half against Townsville. Couldn't get going in the second half, but today he was a totally different ball player, and I like how he, went out as a professional and made the adjustment, kept his profile and his composure, and got everyone else involved.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that because he's only been he hasn't been a pro yet. He hasn't played a pro game. But I agree with you. He acted like a pro today, and I thought that was really pleasing. I thought our guys did a better job of opening the lane up for him. I thought he was driving into traffic all day yesterday, all in the second half yesterday, and we didn't do him any favours. So look, there's still a lot to get. I mean, we're a month away from the season. He's starting to find his feet. Kicks was a little bit down. We've got to do a better job of getting him touches, and it's just still a little bit rusty when the ball goes inside. We haven't had a guy we can roll the ball in the post and say go and play for the last couple of years. So we're adjusting to that. He will be that for us, but right now we're still feeling each other out, and it's part and parcel. We do have a lot of guys who can score the ball well, and different guys are going to take their turn on different nights. Kicks is going to be a focal point for us. Tonight was frustrating for him, but for the new guys, especially to do that without Dave, I thought Owen Odygy was fantastic. That's the best game he's had for us.
I was going to say that was the next question actually. A lot of focus obviously on your stars, the Worthingtons. David Barlow was out tonight, obviously with just the slight back problem, but the role players are going to be so critical for you, especially coming off the bench. And Owen McMillan did some nice things for you, I thought, at times.
Got into foul trouble, but look, Owen, if there's one thing I know about Owen is he's going to give me his best effort every time, and that's a non-negotiable with him. That's got to be a non-negotiable with our more talented players too. Not to say that Owen's not our most talented player, but you're right, he plays a role on this team, and it took me a fair while last season to figure out if we're going to go down, we're going to go down with guys who bust their ass every single possession. That's what I knew coming into this game. Owen started, he busted his ass every possession, had a hell of a game, and I think he did a great job of setting the tempo for the other guys who started on the bench.
All right, Chris Anstey, thanks very much for your time. Congratulations once again.
Thanks, guys. Love your work.
Okay, thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Chris. So we're just going to wrap things up here from the opening session of day 2 action here at the Blitz. Just going to run through the final stats for you. The Melbourne United, they shoot 55% from the field, 6 of 18 from 3. They were 16 of 21 from the free throw line for 76%. They're led by Jordan McRae, who was terrific all night. 28 points in just 25 minutes of action. He was 10 of 15 from the field. He was 7 of 10 from the free throw line, had 4 rebounds and 4 assists, and was just unstoppable. Mark Worthington, just a tremendous job. 26 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists. 3 assists shy of a triple-double. Great performance from Wortho. Owen Odygy, as Chris Anstey just talked about, 15 points, 5 rebounds off the bench. Big night for him. Lucas Walker was solid, 12 points, 9 rebounds. And Nate Tomlinson had 6 points, 4 assists and 4 rebounds. For the Kings, well, not much to really talk about here. 22 of 59 from the field for 37%. They were 1 of 16 from the three-point line, just 6%. Missed 10 free throws, 13 of 23. They were led by Tom Garlip, who had 15 points on 7 of 11 shooting. Never stopped trying, it never does, and had 3 block shots. He was terrific in a well-beaten side. Ben Madgen, 13 points. Kendrick Perry, 11, but really struggled. 4 of 15 from the field. Did have 6 rebounds, but a key stat, 6 turnovers. Cody Ellis, 9 points and 7 rebounds, but really couldn't get anything going. Rebound count, not surprisingly, without Angus Brand or Josh Dunker, favoured Melbourne United 46-24. Points in the paint, a whopping 56-20 advantage in points in the paint for Melbourne United. So with that, crowd is just filing out of NAB Stadium, and the next game on the bracket for day 2 will be at 6:30 p.m. That's the Adelaide 36ers versus the Wollongong Hawks, so just over an hour away. We'll be back on air at 6:15 with our pre-game show. So make sure you go to the nbl.com.au website, click on the link to Adelaide Wollongong. The live stats will be there as well, and you can watch all the action as it continues on day 2 of the 2014 NBL Blitz. So on behalf of my broadcast partner Bruce Bolden and my other broadcast partner Brad Rosen, it's been great to have your company this afternoon from Auchenflower. Stay safe wherever you are, and we will see you in 1 hour. Good afternoon.